Hey there, audio friends. Got an IEM review for you today. This is a new one from Simgot. This is called the ET142. Kind of an interesting IEM because it is a planar IEM, and then it has what they're calling piezoelectric drivers, 2 piezoelectric drivers in there with the planar. Pretty interesting system, comes with a lot of cool accessories, comes in at $220. This was sent to me by Linsoul. I do not have to pay for it and I get to keep it. So, you know, consider it a paid video if you like, but that's not really influencing my opinion in any way, but just good for you to know that going into it. So let's take a look at these IEMs. They're all metal. It's a very Simgot build, which I would say is a good thing. The cable is a nice chunky cable, braided, thick. I found it to be pretty much tangle free and thought it worked very, very well. One interesting note about the cable that I like very, very much is it is a modular system. So it comes with a 4.4 balanced end and a 3.5 end. So you can swap those out depending on your needs, which I find to be very handy. And it just, you know, it just pops right on there. It's very easy to use and change. The tips themselves can be changed as well. The nozzles that are on there, this is not a new thing. A lot of IEMs are doing this and Simgot has been doing it as well. This one comes with more than the previous ones I've tested. So it comes with 4 different sets. And then interestingly enough, it comes with this cool kind of little metal sheet that you can screw 2 pairs into. What I find odd about this is you can't screw 3 or 4 pairs into there because it comes with 4 pairs. So you would think that they would have enough spots for all of them, but no, only 2. I suppose you maybe narrow it down to the 2 or 3 that you like, and then you can cycle them onto this, and then you just tuck away the other set in a baggie. That's kind of what I did. I would have just think it would have been nice to include all of them on that little, you know, on that little metal piece there. Obviously, you've got this little carrying case. It's kind of a faux leather wrapped thing, magnetic. You know, it's got little loops in there to hold your different tips and a little pocket in there. So I kind of had mine set up, you know, where I snuggled these guys kind of down in there, and then I had my extra tip up there. But it's a nice little case. I like it. You can see I've got a whole range of little accessories and things that come with this. So it's kind of a tuning system, right? You've got little foam inserts that you can tune with. You've got 3 different types of tips in different sizes. You've got O-rings, you've got the nozzles, you've got the changeable cable, all that stuff. So you can really kind of dial in this system for your specific needs. And I think that's a smart move by Simgot, because I think that you're going to be able to find something that works for you. As far as like the sound goes, it's hard to really comment on it because there are 4 different sounds here depending on which nozzles you use. And it does, depending on which ones you go from which to, it does change the sound fairly significantly, I would say, in some cases. So let's kind of talk about how I went about using this system. Well, first off, I started with the Topping G5 as kind of the main unit I was driving it with, and I found that one of the silver tips, I don't remember which one specifically, I think it was maybe the silver, and either the black O-rings or the silver and the red kind of agreed with me most on the Topping G5. But then I got the XD05T in for review, which, spoiler, go watch this video because I love this thing. It's a fantastic unit. But when I switched to that, which has a tube in it, I had to kind of reevaluate which nozzles that I wanted to use and that I thought sounded best. So I think by having all of these different kind of tuning elements, they really set the user up to be able to find something that works for them. And I think that's a very smart move for an IEM that's priced at $200, because I think you're going to be able to come away with your purchase feeling like you got an IEM that you really enjoy. Technically speaking, when we're talking about just the capabilities of the drivers and things like that, I found them to be very adequate, all right? And when I say adequate, I mean, you know, don't expect amazing things from it. I mean, it's a $200 IEM, but with my most recent listening session here, I went from the on the XT05T, I went from listening to the HE1000 SE to these. Obviously, the IEMs don't sound as big as the HE1000s, but I mean, as far as feeling like the timbre sounds correct and that the bass is full and weighty and that, you know, there's plenty of detail in the highs, I thought all that was totally fine on these IEMs. I think that again, they're technically capable enough and there's enough tuning options here that you're going to be able to find a setup that works for you. If I had any big knock against the ET142s here, it's just that they do kind of have that IEM sound where they don't sound huge. They do really kind of close you in. I wouldn't necessarily call it claustrophobic, but after coming from something like an HE1000 SE, you're obviously losing kind of that sense of space and things like that, that you just get with a large set of planar headphones. You know, these don't sound large, but they're technically good. They've got a lot of tuning options. It's a very well accessorized kit. They're very well built. I think they've got a lot going for them, and I think if you're in the market for an IEM at around $200, I think this one's worth a look. And I think that's all I've got for you. I'll go ahead and I'll drop a link down to these below. As always, if you have heard these, you own them, I would invite you to comment down below on what your opinion of them is. Which tips did you like the best? For me, with the XT05T, I ended up settling on these kind of gold tips. I thought sounded really nice on those with, you know, plenty of clarity, but still a good amount of low-end grunt to them and a natural timbre, right? So, but that was different on the G5. So again, I think having those tips is it's really nice that you can kind of dial it in for you and for what your source is that you're listening to them on. With that, I'm gonna tell you thanks for watching. I'm gonna tell Linsoul thanks for sending these out, and I'm gonna wish you a good day. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.